just blew out some people's speakers. That was interesting. Well, to anyone watching this later on, welcome to the stream. Return a fucking here. This is Harvey's Tap with Hangar Modules. And there's been a recent update for Hellion. I've been playing it a lot with a few friends on a private server, and then some deep dives in public servers to try to survive the ridiculousness. There seems to be a lull on this server, so I might be able to show off how it starts. And crazy legs! Oh, I haven't seen it enough. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. Anyway, so for anyone watching, think of this as kind of like an introduction to the current status of Hellion, which is a game that right now, as I'm streaming this, there's been a recent news article concerning a $27,000 package from Star Citizen. Hellion, for $25, is also like Star Citizen in early alpha, and has way more to do and way more fun. The entire solar system is neutron physics-based, orbits and such, fuel consumption, air consumption, filtration, all that stuff, all that good survival stuff. Makes this a very particular game that scratches an itch that I haven't found in any other game. The leads, it kind of like touches upon every now and then, but it's so far from in the future where people fly spaceships like a private car. In this, we're still in the status of like far-flung future, but you're in such dire straits that it actually still provides a form of like adventure, like the early days of the Daisy mod, the early days of the walking simulator. There's still bugs. We might very well just die in the first few minutes, or something horrible might happen to make the game unplayable, but it's actually still worthwhile. So let's see how far you can get in the initial playthrough to show you guys how exactly one starts playing Hellion. I've chosen a server with the lowest ping in order to make sure that we don't have any problems with lag. They have fixed a lot of the issues that we had with frame rates, which makes it actually playable. Okay, let's transition. There we go. This is the starting screen whenever you join a new server, and you're going to have a choice for fresh start, continue from your last game, or if somebody else is already playing the game and they have a cryopod available in their station, they can invite you. So it is always going to be multiplayer. Even if you try to start off on your own, you're always going to be in a situation where you're multiplayer because there is no single player option. It's at least do or die. Alright, let's begin. We start off in the cryopod. One thing that they never mention is what exactly that button button is. It is very important to press this button when you first spawn, because this opens up a secret compartment in your first home base that might have one or two extra little pieces of material or just equipment that might help you along the way. Now, I don't know why it has this watch back filter, but there's not much I can do about it. Okay, you can see out here. Okay, look at that. Those are pieces of my station. Suit, skin cap, top cap, this thing's really most important, well into it. And in here, yes, my favorite bouncing Betty. And we're good. Okay. Currently everything's powered off, so we're running on auxiliary. And this giant thing right here is the secret compartment that opens up to that one button inside the fire pump. So let's see what we got here. Oh, nice. We're containing for the generator and the resource injector. Those are actually really useful. See, there gets one. Oh, nice. Now, take that battery and yes, you have a tiny fridge. And a place to put a whole bunch of stuff you find it on. Never put on a spacesuit without an actual spacesuit. I think that's Brookfield. We started Brookfield. Hellion is in the Hellion system. So we're not in the solar system, we're in a system far-flung. We've been in cryosleep for a century. And we're cut off from humanity. Okay, first of which, this is your starting base. You have a refinery, you have filtration systems, air creation systems, and a gravity field generator, and some extra space. But first, outside, this entire thing is run by solar panels. So we're going to have to make sure that the solar panels are extended in order to be able to pick up something that's just solar related. Now we also have to check our heating conditions. Here's the air filter and air generator. These are parts in order to make it more efficient, which is energy. Air quality indicators and pressure. Now, we need to turn on the air filter to make sure that we don't eventually choke on CO2. We are picking up some kilowattage. That's good. Not much has changed at this point from the original version of Hellion. The recent update, there's been a lot of stuff in the background and also changed one giant thing that you can see. First of which, we also have a couple of project containers that show you get that into a machine. And just that all in. We're going to need to generate some more air sources, so we're just going to put all that in there. And we'll start air generation later. First of which, I just want to try to put batteries under this okay, now it's time for everyone's favorite, the Ricky Retardo. The Ricky Retardo is a classic space maneuver. First coined Ricky Retardo back in the days of Hellion 2 when Master Chief Ricky Retardo left the side of Star Trek. There. We found a drill bit, so just gonna have to wait. Alright, come down. Let's grab onto the side of the wall and to 1 feet. It is not hanging off. That's true. Okay, well, it set me straight where I need to go. This is the airlock module. This is going to be the only way to conserve and safely get in and out of the station. Let's open up the window we have, pressing R to switch between different panels. Okay, it's going to be standard document. And then we're going to have to make sure on the right-hand side to lock onto the module we're trying to connect, which is going to be our outpost, and pressing right and left. Since it only has one connector, we're only going to think, but eventually when you have larger bases, this is where you're going to be finding stuff to connect to. Minimize this. Hello, Orange Stork, and welcome to Hellion. Oh shit, because I'm moving my mouse and changing direction, pressing and holding shift allows you to stabilize. Now we're going to try a hard dock, increasing our directional speed. Always keep it below 1.0 in the green bar, so that means that if you hit something, you're not going to cause any damage. Damage here is based entirely on mass and velocity. The bigger the thing and the faster the thing, the more the damage is. And damage can cause anything from fractures, loss of air, to even a fire inside, which means that you use up a whole bunch of oxygen. Line, pressing the shift, nice alignment, almost and mag lock. Perfect. Now, before we fill, or before you ever fill anything with air, you need to make sure that it's comfortable, because the computer might allow for the environmental system to fill up with oxygen, but that also means you're going to be using up and losing oxygen. See that flash right there? That means that we have crack or something with fire. If I fill this up with air, there would be a huge fire right now. Oh no, let me check. Extremely distant. That's not.
Oh, using the wrong microphone. What the hell? I'm sorry about that. I had this set up with the Rift from back in my Pavlov playthrough. Okay, let's. That is a shame. I am a silly Billy. Sorry about that. God, nothing I said before made any sense. Oh, what do you expect? I don't intentionally do this a lot. But anyway, if I didn't make myself clear or anything that I was explaining in the beginning of the stream, my apologies. The whole point is that I'm trying to show off a game that is actually younger, cheaper, and more compact than Star Citizen, yet provides everything the space adventurer needs. Or wants, really. Alright. Now, in the beginning I said that this was one of the most important tools, the welder. This is why. You have to refine hydrogen in order to fuel it, but once you have it, it's pretty good. And once a module is powered on, it gives you a readout that tells you the hull integrity. Now, the hull integrity isn't exactly the strength of the module. It's to make sure that it's not evacuating air, because that's usually what matters most. Ooh, what's that? Okay, let's... it's a catalyst. A catalyst improves the output of any electrical device that generates energy. For example, solar panels, which are kind of like the mainstay of how you get energy. Mind you, farther out of the solar system, the intensity of the sun, or, well, not the sun, of the local star, loses energy. So your exposure goes down to like 16%. So unless you have everything shut off, you won't be gaining any energy. Orange Spark, how have I been? Well, been busy. Recently finished a semester, so I have some time to myself, and until I find something to occupy myself, gonna be doing some of this. Yes, it's good that you've been following Hellion. Recent update about a week ago has made this game far superior to its previous version. Especially changes along the lines of what type of ship you start with, changes to stability, along with frame rate. It's the same game, but it's actually playable now. And I hate to say it like that to make it sound like it wasn't playable before. Ooh, gun! Yes. This is... When you're playing, this is something you need, unfortunately. There is no single player. You always have to be looking out for yourself. Okay, so... Airlock controls always seem like this. These are the airlock access pads. They give you the ability to... pressurize, depressurize, and close both the inner and outer doors, which are very important in pressurization. These switches, on the other hand, you'll find whenever there's a door with security access. Security access is, if you see this little button, called toggle lock. Now, when you toggle that, it makes sure that only you can open this door from the outside. Well, actually, yes and no. In order to have these toggle lock systems actually work in multiplayer games to prevent other people from coming in and stealing your shit, you need to find an outpost module that turns your outpost into a starbase. Those are hard to find, but plentiful enough to make it kind of like your first thing that you need to find if you want to make a mainstay station, like to make your house a home. But for right now, when you're inside the station, you can lock down and make sure that nobody comes in. Only once you have the outpost module are you able to have that lock on at all times to make sure that no matter where you are, that door will be locked. Because in order to open it right now for us, I have to take off the lock. It's an interesting concept of personal security, and you know what? Sure, why not? Okay, this time I'm going to make sure I'm holding on to the to the wall by pressing and holding shift. And let's evacuate some air. Okay, and we're good. Now with that, we're going to turn on life support. Oh, we don't have any air in our tanks. Okay, we did have some nitrogen and O2. We're going to fill that up. We're also going to take as much from the close quarters, or the personal quarters, the habitation module, and start filling everything up. Specifically the prep room. What the hell? What's going on? Why is the power supply shitty? Okay, let's turn this off, and let's turn that off. Why is the outpost needing 600? Oh, this is strange. We have a bit of a power shortage issue, and that's not good. Ah, well, I'll have to solve that in a bit. Well, first of which, we're going to have to turn off the air filter. That's 150 right there. We're gaining plus 50 power. We're going to need that for oxygen creation. Let me just take everything back from the habitation module. Use that to fill up the main module. And also to fill up the prep room. Because I'm going to need to get out. Alright. The shaking and the... If you see at the bottom left, there's a red thing. Shows that we're actually in a debris field. Around each planet, there's the broken debris of other parts of this giant colony ship that broke up when it arrived on Hellion, which is the ship that you were on. So when you start out, you're one of the colonists. You've been asleep for a century, and now you need to salvage for survival. Please show me some ammo. Show me some ammo. No ammo. It's low on ammo. Oh, here. These are the cryopods. The one I started in is in the other habitation module. But these, I'm going to make sure that if I need to spawn, I can spawn here in a place that has air. Wow, this ship is getting hit. We're at 91 hull integrity. That means we're getting hit from the outside. So what I need to do now... Oh, shoot. That's bad. Alright. Is get on to a new ship that they've added as your starter ship called the Stero. Or Steropi. Let's fill up. What's that? Open the inner... Oh, that's right. I'm an idiot. Gotta unlock the door. Alright, press H to put on our helmets. Oh, wait, we already have our helmets on. We're at 50% oxygen, so I'm gonna have to make this quick. Depressurize. Now we're gonna take a little walk outside, try to get the Sterope. Oh, before that, before this thing floats away, let's go to the derelict. We might be able to pick up or salvage a few parts to be used later. That's the other thing. Whenever you see derelicts, they're pieces of a station that you can't really use, but stuff attached to them or found inside them could be the difference between life or death. Wow, that sounded more dramatic than it is. No, it's just, it's basically loot. Loot can be found. Okay, let's see what we have here. Not much here. Ooh, a battery. Let's take that. Movement is not something that is very easy in this game because it's Newtonian-based physics, and you have a limited amount of fuel, as the bottom right of the RCS, or top right. Okay, well, let's put that in. You know what? I'm just going to use that right now. Refilled my jetpack and refilled my oxygen. Now, let's wait until we're aligned, and I'm just going to throw it out and use it as... Yep. Use a little thrust that helps me move out of the way. Okay. Anything else around here? No, not much. I was able to refill my O2 so I don't have to worry about choking to death, but sadly, RNGesus has not helped us in this one. Since that's the case, I'm going to let this thing float away. Not much else I can do with it. Turn off my flashlight to conserve some power. And at the top middle, I don't know if it's visible, but once you leave the confines of a station or a module, you can set your nav to lock onto something. And we're locking onto the Steropes, which is the ship. Kind of a little jaunty puddle jumper. Located right there. Now, we're going to have to get in there, claim it as our own. That ship actually has its own security console, which will show a tiny version of what you can do with your station. Like, you can lock it and have it only open to you once you claim it. The thing is that it doesn't allow that for a station. It just allows it for a ship without needing the module. Okay. Hopefully it's sealed. So I have the extra air in order to be able to get in and out without choking to death. And grab. Damn. Okay, grabbed onto it. Let's see. Depressurize. Now, the ship itself is not meant for interstellar travel. It's just within short range, planetary jumps. It's super efficient, though, compared to the Argos, which was the ship that you started with. That ship is still technically in-game. It's just, in order to get it, you have to go to the edge of the system in a situation where it might be one way. We'll get to that if I'm able to get far enough into this game today. If not, I'll just save my progress and hopefully do another stream later. Now let's close the other door and pressurize. Now, you can breathe in atmosphere that's 0.5 millibars, but it's not healthy. That means I can open my... There we go. 0.1. Ah, there's no power. I need to open up and extend the solar rays. Oh, that's right. I haven't claimed the ship yet. Okay. First of which, we always start with the most important part of the ship, the cockpit, the pit of cocks. Let's claim it. Change the ship name to the Bouncin' Betty. Why? Because that was one of the first ship emblems that the developers put in. And I am a big fan of Betty Page, the female form. And there we go. See? Now on the outside, you also have that decal, so that's good. Now, since I've claimed the ship as my own, I can now lock the doors and still open them. If I find an outpost module, I could do the same thing to my my starbase. But right now, this is the safest place for me. Now, let's deploy. Oh, no. No sun exposure. Oh, no! Oh, we're boned. Okay, first of which, I did find a core containment unit, which increases my storage module space, my storage power space. We found a warp cell that I can use instead of this one. That's a 25%. You always want to save your full up cells, because those are so very important. If you actually want to move something large, you need more power from your warp cell. BTN Masher Draco, welcome to the stream. Not too many followers, but I care about all my followers. What incarnation? We're playing Hellion. Recent update, so I'm just showing off the new additions to the game. And also my ineptitude as to which is my correct mic. Something far less toxic than, say, Elite. Yes! Ah, we got a mining system. This is, if you like mining, you're gonna love this game. Let's put, let's take this out and drop this. Okay. No, that's perfect. It's stacked right on top of each other. Okay, so I'm gonna need a battery for the drill to turn it on. I'm gonna need a canister that's empty. And here we go. Set up. I'm gonna use that to drill later. Mining in this game is tedious as fuck because, like in all motion in 0G, you have to always compensate for whatever you're throwing away. Anything you throw away or everything you suck in causes a certain level of thrust. So if I were to take a canister and throw it away, I'm going to be thrown back depending on how hard I throw that. And if I'm going to be drilling something, it's going to be extracting something from the rock which will push me towards the rock and may make me lose my balance. I don't know. I think it's fun, making it a little bit difficult. See, still no sun exposure. Okay, well, there's not much we can do about that. What I can do is at least dock of the ship. Can I? Yes, I can. Now, on the right-hand side, you can see the radar range and selection screen. That's where we're going to make sure we're selecting the outpost. There's going to be bars horizontally and vertically that show you which directions your thrust vector is. You always want to diminish the amount of thrust vectoring in relation to whatever you're trying to kind of like lock onto. Makes docking easier. Oof. The Sterope is 1/10 the size and 1/10 of the density of the Argos. So moving around is freaking awesome. It is nimble, it is quick, and it doesn't have an engine. One, because it's not large enough to house the engine module that the Argos had. And two, because if you refueled your Argos and set the engine to 100%, it went trans light. And if you left it on for a few seconds, it shot you out of the solar system. That was something that needed to be fixed, but couldn't be fixed readily, according to some of the dev posts. I found it absolutely hilarious, but at least they're trying to fix it now. Yeah, sorry, Orange. That just came out without me thinking about it. But yes, it's, this game is less toxic in the way that the fan base are people that really love the genre and don't have some kind of like, oh, we need to make a community and I need to gesticulate how important I am. This whole point is, the recent event with this community is that there was a station that was going to crash because its orbit decayed over time. Which is one thing that you have to think about when you place any object in orbit, is that it's going to be affected by orbital bodies nearby and eventually either decay or become more eccentric. And so the entire thing is, the entire community came up to that and just wanted to like help out. And it was a very beautiful thing. If you go to the Hellion YouTube, they have a video about that. And it was a wonderful thing. there's no bitching and moaning about this or that. It's an entire community. They have their gripes. I have my gripes about the game, but that's in the fact that it's still developing, and they're not going to kind of like force any idea on you. There's not a forced community. There's not this whole thing of like an economy and a basis and like, no, it's just pure survival, pure engineering, like nerdgasm. It's beautiful. Draco, you're absolutely right. It all depends on the people that you surround yourself with, but that's as much as I'm going to say on that. Back to this game. Now, as you can see, finally our orbit has us in front of the sun, so not only is my station charging, but this is now, the lights are on, and we should be able to go. Let's see, how are we doing? Hull integrity is at 100, gravity is on, air quality is at 95. Let me turn this on. So, yeah, okay. And I have some spare oxygen in here. Nice. Gotta find a servo motor soon, but that'll be fine. Now, in order to make the air quality indicator go up faster, if you section off different parts of your ship, that will allow the air purifier to work at a certain section much quicker than if you were to just open every part of your ship and have a larger space that has to go through a filter. Oh wait, that's right, I was going to do a tour of the ship. The new stair-up. Well, we first start out with this cockpit that has a much better area of view than the Argos. You can actually see below you, above you, left, right. Although there are a few things that are in your way, but trust me, you're always going to be looking forward. That's going to be the most important part. It's more of a maneuver ship than it is a long travel ship. And the way that travel works in this game, it's not like Elite where you're a joystick jockey. This is more along the lines of actual transference of like material from one point in orbit to another. It's more mathematics and less stick jockeying. Now we get to the... Come on. Come on. There we go. Now we get to the center of the ship, which is the storage area and docking bay. Now, the ship doesn't actually dock with anything. You have to use the airlock. You can never actually dock it directly to a station, except with the clamp that's located down below. But there is no transference of oxygen like the Argos that actually melded and folded into the station and kind of worked as a module. You have a couple of racks for guns, which unfortunately are a thing that you need to have. You have storage for replacement parts and for anything that you find, plus storage for mining parts and if you go out mining and need to pick up raw materials to be refined later. Now, you have 4 spacesuits, and usually you don't want more than 4 people on a ship. More people in an area use up more oxygen and eventually gets to the point that you start losing more oxygen than what you can filter. Now, back here is engineering. We have the life support systems and energy systems that are all locked into the warp coil. And this right here is the most important part of your warp ship, the singularity cell detonator. The better version of this you find, the more efficient your jump vector is and the less fuel you need to consume here in this warp cell. I found one in the beginning. Let's see, how much does this have? I didn't check. 18%, sure, why not? Oh, that's right, and I got a fire extinguisher. Gonna put that here. Yeah, you always want a fire extinguisher at any point. Orange Spark, thank you for joining me. I'll see you around, and really appreciate you stopping by. Now, let's see. Yeah, I made sure the life support is on. Air quality is back up to normal. Okay, now with that out of the way, I'm going to connect this to the station to provide a secondary source of energy while I start refining the raw materials I start out with. And docking is the fun part. Now we're gonna see at the bottom you have directional, latitude, and ETA. Over time you'll understand what these are used for, but what you have to be focused on right now is directional. Get that as close to 0 as possible whenever you're nearby. And let's lower it down to thrust is horizontal as well. Don't want to get too close. 64 meters, 60 meters. Let's switch to the docking cam, okay? And now the docking cam is facing downwards, so what you think is forward or back is actually down and up. And what you think is down and up is actually forward and back. So you have to think about the relation of what your viewpoint is of the ship to your controls. Let's turn over a bit, stabilize. Now, right now, if you have Hellion, you can join me. BTN Masher, yes, you can have multiple people on the ship. The game is always multiplayer. Although I don't have other people on my ship, there are other people on the server located someplace else in the solar system. I could team up with them, or they could try to, you know, attack me, break into my ship, and steal all my shit. It's always going to be multiplayer, and there are people in every server, whether it's a handful or whether it's, you know, dozens. It's all dependent on the time that you log in, because there's higher activity, and it is a smaller community than something like Elite. Okay. Now, for docking purposes, you're going to see that on the left-hand side, I've chose the anchor viewpoint, which is directly below the ship. On the right-hand side, modules and range tells you what you can lock onto, and below that, with the left and right, you can choose what part of the station you can lock onto. And when you've locked onto something else, you see the orange glow around that specific pad, as it were. Now, I'm going to hook up to this, which is kind of like the more center point of my station, which will make it far easier for me to maneuver the entire station. Here's the cool part. The station where it is has no thrust other than RCS in order to align itself and to keep itself from spinning. Keep a certain form of stability so you can get in and out without it killing you. Now, this ship, the Sterope, was built specifically as a hauler. So this allows me to connect the Sterope to the station, and once it's connected and has enough energy and fuel, I can warp not only the ship, but whatever station I have attached to it with me. Which is kind of like a necessary thing, because all the stations that start up in the dead zone, the debris field around the main planet, which is Bethir. It's a gas giant. And because other people have started and died, their stuff is debris. The debris field that we had earlier in the stream, that was the broken parts of other people's spawned items. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's align a little bit better. Down, right. Okay, directional speed is under 0.5, so we should connect automatically. Connect, 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 connect. Come on, there we go. Let's switch back to the front view. And there we go. The ship is connected to the station. We are ready to haul ass. But before that, I'm going to take this time to show the refining systems. And do I need to leave anything here? No, I'm taking that with me. Taking this with me. Taking that with me. Yeah, I'm taking that with me. Okay, down helmet. Close. Now, this game is great as a solo because it tests your mettle as to how you can survive by just going through practical problems. But when you have other people join you, and you have other people that know how to work with you or can follow directions, it turns into this whole enterprise where it's just really fucking, like, fulfilling. It's like the concept of, like, a multiplayer in... well, it's not like a multiplayer like CS. But you can have that. You can go onto an enemy station and it turns into Counter-Strike where you're just trying to very carefully kill somebody else without losing your shit. But it's the whole idea of like one ship, one crew, all working towards the same thing. And any one person can fail and that means everybody dies. And that's the other thing. The stakes are high. This is EVE Online, but without an economy. Everything that you have on you is the only thing that you have on you. You can find other replacement parts, or you can eventually build a few things if you can find a fabrication module. Yes, there's a 3D printer in this game. It's so much fun. But you were on a colony ship, and the colony ship brought everything it thought it would need in order to colonize an entire solar system. So there are some parts that are so rare and so hard to find that whatever you have on your is the only one that exists. So it provides an interesting dynamic. Kind of love the whole idea. Okay, let's grab onto that. Easy. It's a game that demands a lot of patience and a lot of thought before you do anything. You can just get on your ship and leave your station and just go into the void and try to find stuff. And that's great. And 5 out of 10 times, you'll find something and then you'll be able to like move on from there. But the other 5 times, you'll either die from a breach due to a debris field, or you might run out of oxygen, and if you don't have O2 either on your ship or in your pack, you're going to suffocate horribly. Or you might find somebody else who's much better equipped than you. And if that's the case, well, survival of the fittest, motherfucker. let's see. Let's turn off the Betty. We don't need that using a power. Life support, I'm going to switch it over from the Betty and shut that down and turn it on here. We generated 1.2 thousand air. Oh, that's my 3D printer. I'll probably show you guys later with some updated photos on the Discord with the latest 3D print. This one is going to be the Diamondback Explorer from Elite. I got a file from a fellow stick jockey, and I've been working on trying to make it 3D printable. I have to say, from a distance, I can tell you, it came out nice. And now it's all dependent on how much quality I got off the thing. But I'll show you that, and of course the Keeley, Feelies for Keeley, that I was able to print out as well. That'll be coming out in the next few hours on the Discord, which, again, if you're watching now or watching later on demand, join the Kaiju Platypus Discord, as I always have everything up there first before I post it onto Twitter and Facebook, which I also have a Twitter and Facebook. You can see updates on the latest 3D prints, updates on the latest video, and if I'm planning to do a special series or something, I'll put it up there first, probably a day in advance before I put it on YouTube to be available for everyone. Why? Because I kind of actually want to make this work. Although my original work on the CFN, or the Canon Faction News, kind of had me going 24/7 on it, it actually made me happy to do that, even aside from all the bullshit that I had to deal with Canon. But now just, I kind of want to do something for myself. And I want to start with Hellion, probably go back to Elite, probably do some 3D, some VR with Pavlov again. Just random stuff, because whether... You guys have surprised me. I have 100 followers, 112 followers now. I don't know why the heck you're following me, but I appreciate it, and I kind of feel like a dumbass if I don't exactly, like, do something. Whether it's good or not is going to be up to you. If you unsubscribe, then I'm going to know that it's not good. If you leave a comment, even if you want to hurt my feelings, I'm more than happy to. All right. Let's see. Enough time has passed. Capacitor's full. Air tanks are 800. Okay, so now we take off the helmet to conserve some oxygen. Packs need to be refilled. Attach point, we're going to go with... What the hell? I thought there was... Oh yeah, I put everything into the system. Okay. Let me take it out. I just need the O2. Refill the packs. Nitro, that's nitrous oxide. It is a byproduct of nitrates, which we both get nitrogen and nitrous oxide from. Let's see. And that refills the thing. Let me recharge the battery. What the fuck was that? Oh yeah, we're still in the debris field. Fuck. I need to move the ship. But before that, let's find out if I can refuel the ship. Okay, we're at full fuel. Take out O2 from it. Now, all modules have a canister of nitrous oxide and have jets that allow them to be aligned. But if they don't have fuel, they'll just keep spinning. In order to make sure that you can effectively move the entire hunk of mass that is your space station, you're going to need to make sure everything is in working order and filled up. I don't have a servo motor for this. But first, let's take the dry ice and start refining that shit. It's going to take 2 minutes and 45 seconds, get some extra O2. Let's put this over here. Let's check on... Okay, both are green for carbon filters. We're missing a servo motor, another servo motor, and a resource injector. Do I have... Yes, I have a resource injector. So I'm going to put that in there. And... Nah, none of these can work there. Okay. I have a gun, but no bullets. Well, story of my life. Let's see. Let's turn this off, because we're consuming a bunch of energy. And this I'm going to keep on, because this version uses more. Okay. We're out of the debris field, so that means we can move her out. Let's check the refinery again. I'm going to unload and stop the refinery. Power supply, I'm going to switch over and turn on the Bouncin' Betty. Turn off the outpost. Switch air purifiers onto here. Shut this down here. Oh, news. And we're going to step outside, and we're going to move the station. I wanted to do the refinery first, but I can't have us in a debris field because we're just going to start taking a bunch of damage. Let's see. Put it on. Whoa, whoa. Ah, see? That's the thing. If you don't follow protocol, you're going to fucking die. I left my backpack in there. And, yeah, I'm going to put that back in here. I'm an idiot. Talking out my ass. There, jetpack. That's the other thing. If you go outside, even if you don't have RCS, you're just going to float in whatever direction you left. And that's not good. That is very anti-bueno, no bueno. Pressurize. I could start talking like a belter from The Expanse, which, by the way, a show I definitely super highly suggest if you're a fan of anything space. If you like The Expanse, this game is literally The Expanse, the game. Just you're in another solar system. Because the fighting in space, you can attach defense sentries, but it's all about calculating intercept courses with other ships or other stations to be able to be in the right kind of like angle to provide covering fire and such. This game is not a game. It's a platform that allows for a lot of like strange and wonderful situations. For example, I once was unfortunately used as a missile since the ship I was on was traveling at ridiculous speeds in reference to another station. So when I let go of the ship started slowing down. I kept the same speed, and so I splattered onto the side of space station. I really don't want to go into details of what happened next. Let's just say we won the day. The same thing can be done with random trash you find. You can, at one point, use an airlock to evacuate an entire... Oh, Mars. Ah, hey, Mar. Maybe I can join him in our already ongoing game, but that's going to be for later. Alright, first let's show off... Yes. Let's show off how we initialize a warp. So right now, this is the entire system. You have Nimeth, Athanar, Hyrath, Eridil, Bethir, Ascatar, and Aya. You start out in Bethir, which is a purple gas giant, has a couple of supply depots orbiting it, and about 3 moons. Broken Marble is the military base, I believe. Yes, it's a military post. Burner, which is one of everyone's favorites, civilian supply post, which usually has a lot of good starter shit. And Everest, which is my personal favorite. It usually has some higher level stuff in the storage facility, but as you can see, this giant ring is the debris field. And there is more time in the debris field than it has out due to its orbit. Now, that increases the difficulty of actually accessing anything on the station. But this, which is kind of like a starter run, has a higher elliptical orbit outside of the debris field that if you time it just right, you can get there, get your shit, and get out without a problem. Broken Marble being the military outpost. Military outposts always have strange or eccentric orbits and have a lot of time in the debris field. Plus, the military post itself will have automated turrets that, unless you're smart enough or quick enough, will activate and shred you to fucking pieces. And doing anything in 0G is always 10 times more complicated. But right now what we need to do is we need to place our station in an orbit that keeps us out of the debris field and also keeps us in an accessible kind of like range to be able to both scan the planet and move to other parts. So what I'm going to do now is add a custom orbit. Okay. Let's make it wide. I want to also avoid the dark side of the planet, so I'm going to polarize, or just kind of like edge the... Never make a full polar orbit because it makes it very eccentric and very easy for any other gravitational body, like the moon passing nearby, to completely just fling you off. So, let's see. Let's make it a bit closer. And periapsis, apoapsis. Yeah. Okay, let's make it a little bit closer. Because I'm not going to leave this planetary system just yet. I'm not at the point where I'm ready for that. But with this, I can take demarcation point of where the light ends. That shows me I need to avoid this area behind the planet. And let's just make it a little bit more eccentric. Make it a little bit more perfect. And we're just outside the range of the first debris field, and then there's a secondary debris field. Okay, we're going to warp to that. Now, we don't have much in the way of fuel, because I'm trying to use the 12% one. Ah, see? We don't need that much. Time of activation and time of arrival. If it tells you that the speed is too low, you just need to increase the time of arrival. If it tells you that it's insufficient fuel, just lower it until it's there. This is the amount of fuel. Now, if it tells you that the speed is too high, you need to lower the time of arrival. So you just need to kind of like work around with the different settings in order to find the minimal amount of fuel in the shortest amount of time. We're going to initialize this orbit and just make sure that we're not going to thrust vector in any direction. All we're going to do is just align. And that's why we needed to refuel the RCS thrusters, so we have thrusters in all parts of the station working with the computer on the ship. Okay, now we're going to align to the vector that's marked with a red M. Once it turns green, we're facing the right direction. And we need to do that within the time limit. Now in the old version, before the update, you have to do this and then you have to press J. But thankfully now, the computer works by itself. So once you're in the right point, you can just leave the console and it'll jump. I forgot to turn off my helmet. Okay. I was breathing in my own farts. Now see, in all panels across the ship, everyone will know, your estimated time of arrival is 12 seconds. Now, this is the one downside of this game. Everything is simulated. Even though we're traveling faster than light, it's still simulated by the limitation of travel time. So within a planetary system, you can get your travel times between one orbit to another down to either minutes or seconds. But if you're planning on a trip to another planetary system, which you can do, or even to the other side of the solar system, you could be looking at travel times of 15, 20, 30 minutes. Even if you have your ship fully upgraded with Tier 4 items, have the best fuel available, and are ready to... This is why everything about this game is time management, resource management, and just before you jump into it, you gotta think. Which, for some people, immediately detracts from the fun of the game. I don't want this to be too complicated. Other people like me, we love this level of micromanagement. Because it means if you got 3 or 4 other people working with you and understand the importance of just getting it right the first time, having a tiny little like NASA group, you plan out your trip, you plan out the amount of time, the amount of resources you need to take with you, and when you get there, everything goes like fucking clockwork. And on top of that, you'll be surrounded by people that understand that when shit goes crazy, you can count on them to help you figure out the problem. It's a problem simulator. It's a pragmatist paradise. Okay, so now we're at a far better orbit. We're not going to have to worry about debris fields like these. So what we're going to do now is activate the ship scanner, which allows me to scan any orbital body that I'm close enough to. And that scan revealed a whole bunch of asteroids right outside here. But nothing nearby, unfortunately. Oh, wait, no. We do have a derelict. Okay, well, we could go to the derelict and show off, like, what to pick out from the bones of other ships. We also have 2 automated refineries. One refinery that can be reached very easily. Oh, each one can be reached easily, but once we're at the refinery, the planet will be in the way. So unless I warp to another vector or change another version of my own personal orbit, I'm not going to be able to reach it. So I have to either choose B1 or B2 as to be the first station that I get to. Oh, wait. Let's see. Where's the sun? And there it is above us. I'm going to stabilize the ship. And with that, the sun will always be facing the panels. Nice. Okay. And this is how you start off and set your home in kind of like a setup that will be working towards your favor. With this, my base will always be available to me. It'll always be outside of the starter orbit, so it's not going to be easily reached, but it will always be there to provide power. Because that's the other thing. This ship needs a station to recharge power faster, and it needs a station to recharge air and other utilities. You can't just do it yourself like you could with the Argos. This is a codependent relationship, and there's not much else you can do about it because that's how the ship was built. It's supposed to be a shuttle, not a starship. The Argos, on the other hand, can take care of itself and has a fusion generator, but the Argos is a little tough to reach right now. I'll get to that in another episode because I don't think I'll get to that point in this gameplay. Let's see. All right, and the final thing I want to show off is the new refining feature, so we're going to do that. Pressurize. I'm blathering on like an idiot, but I just... this game just scratches all of the itches I didn't know I had when it came to the type of... like Star Citizen, the other Star Citizen meat. This doesn't have a whole bunch of ships that you can buy. There is no $27,000 package. This is a bare bones game right now that's in alpha that provides just the right amount of sci-fi hubris, and like it's the challenge of the game. It's not the challenge of my wallet. I've had more fun with this game than I've had with whatever version of Star Citizen is out right now because I was stupid enough to spend $50 to buy one of the starter ships. Oh, many moons ago. Because I unfortunately drank that Kool-Aid, and I've learned from my mistakes. As my friend Yamix had a stream going on earlier today, which clearly stated how fucking ridiculous that was. This kind of like is me trying to show you that there's a better option. There's a game that has real challenge and has way better community than some other games, and can provide you with hours of enjoyment if space exploration is your thing. That's the other thing. Although there's a whole bunch of debris all over the place, space exploration is still a part of this game. Because things are constantly spawning and despawning. Not despawning in the sense of, oh, that's just a generation of the RNGs. No, it spawns everything you need in the initial version or initial restart of the server. But stuff has a limited lifetime. If it goes through a debris field, it loses structure. And eventually, once it loses a certain amount of structure, it just blows up in space. Your station could blow up with you inside it. And then, well, you're boned. Okay, let's switch over power. Turn off the Bouncing Betty. Turn on the outpost. Outpost is at 100, 125 for both. We're at +7. Total output is 1.05 thousand kilowatts. And with the Bouncing Betty off, I'm just going to use the filtration system and the air generation system inside the outpost. Okay. Okay, let me take off my helmet. Fresh air. Now, we're always going to be some type of refinery found in some of the life support modules. This starter life support module is by far, in my opinion, the best. There are other modules that you can find in the system that provide more of a niche or specific thing if you're doing a larger starter base, but if you're just you, this is all you need. This thing provides air, provides filtration, and most importantly provides refineries. Although it has a limitation of 100 units to refine, it is not, it shouldn't be denied of the fact of how useful it can be. Okay, we'll fill it up to 100 and refine. We're using 500 in a second. That brings down our capacity range to, we're only having a +50 charge. So we're good, we're green. Everything's green. Stupa green. While that's doing, while that's going on, let's check. Yeah, not going to transfer any oxygen. Let's check back in our starter module. This is our home away from home. Let me put this catalyst in here. I need a fire hydrant. Yes, apparently, according to this, these are plants that have survived 100 years with nothing. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And so, beautiful living space. Got the sun in a perfect angle. Provide energy, not be a burden. Let's check out our window again. That's a beautiful view. Let's close that for security reasons. The belle of the ball. Why? Because humanity is nothing without, you know, saucy images. Hull integrity is at 99%, so that means that we most likely took some damage as we were passing by a debris field, and it's a tiny little fracture that we're not going to find anytime soon. Great. That's the thing. There are certain spots on modules that are going to be the places that you're always going to repair, but there are other times where there could be random fractures that are less than 1%, and you're not going to find them. Period. Let's close this. Alright, so now that we're in a better position, let's... Oh, wait, that's right. Hey. Well, I just let myself be known. That was stupid. There are 2 buttons here. One is to call a rescue ship, and one is to a distress call. Now, right now, I don't know how many people are out there in this server. If I press the distress call button, the location of my ship and my station will be beamed out to everyone saying I need help. So this is like a 50-50 chance. Either it's a good thing or a bad thing. Either it's a good thing, they come by and they have some spare resources and help you, or they don't come by and they just steal all your shit. So that's something that you need to worry about. The distress or the call to rescue ship is if you die out there with your ship and you spawn back in this station, you can press that to have a sterope eventually come back to your station. It's not going to be the same one. It'll be a new one. And you can't guarantee that it'll have fuel or even be usable. It'll just arrive. Sometimes, though, if you do that like more than once, you're going to have to wait 10 minutes for that, which is a problem. Because if you're running out of resources, 10 minutes means that it's, too late and you're just going to die horribly. Again, every single choice has a consequence. It's all about being smart enough or pragmatic enough to survive. Let's see how we're doing power-wise. Let's check. Refining should be done. Yes, it is. We got some oxygen and hydrogen. Perfect. Regolith, we get some helium-3, which is a fuel source that we need, and nitrates gives us nitrous oxide and nitrogen, which are all good things. Creation of air needs both oxygen and nitrogen, and for every 1 unit of oxygen, you need 4 units of nitrogen, so that stuff goes like fucking water. And that's just for environmental purposes, to be able to have breathable oxygen. They're eventually talking about adding more survival aspects. For example, caloric intake and usage, hydroponics. But right now, they're doing the smart thing and focusing on the main gameplay. The last few updates have been specifically about making the start game, this, as enjoyable and as least tedious as possible. In previous iterations, it was a bit of just a fuck-up. But now to get to this point in the previous version of the game, took hours. This stream has been going on for less than an hour, and we got everything set. Or has been going exactly 1 hour now, and we have everything set and ready to begin exploration of the rest of the system. Which I think is a big step fucking out. Okay. At the end of this, what I'm going to do, once I finish refining everything, is show how we start raiding another station. But first, we're going to need helium. This is good. Refining time down to 130. Now, if I were to get another servo motor, which can be inserted right here, it would bring down the refinery time. And that's what all the modules are. Everything you start the game with or everything you find in the game will work. But having additional appliances or additions to the modules increases efficiency. By the increase of efficiency, it makes your life way easier because you're using less resources, and your biggest resource, of course, is energy. Let's see. And that's kind of gives you a kind of like viewer status of the color of the item tells you how it is. So when you look at that resource injector, I can already tell it's above 70%, so we're good. It's all little tiny like choices that are made by a group of people that really have played a lot of games. Now, along with the main access or the main areas that are available on modules, there are some modules, if not most modules, that have this. They have tiny crevasses that you can get into. For Star Trek fans, these are Jeffries tubes. And so in the case where you're trying to sneak into a station or trying to get around station guns, these become very useful. Most useful in PvP because people never really check these or never inspect it. Unfortunately, they are without gravity and sometimes without atmosphere. Although they are kind of changing that now. And see, I just got in and out and no one noticed. Now, let me back in. Let me turn off my, I don't want to use my RCS. I'm just going to press shift every now and then, hold on to the wall. And there we go, down the tube. And that's the other thing, depressurization is your biggest enemy. So all this shit needs to be closed at all times. Oh wait, I didn't close behind me. Now, I need to use these in order to... There. Now that's pressurized. Now I can close this, and in case of decompression, I have a little nook that has some extra oxygen to help me out. Let's see. Refinery done. Let's get the last bit of ice here. Get 25 seconds to get the rest of the oxygen and hydrogen. With that, hydrogen you need for welding tools. Let's fill up on that. Helium-3 is the most efficient fuel source, and you're going to need that for generators, which you can find, and eventually for the Argos main engine generator that uses up helium-3. And it's going to be necessary because the farther away you are from the center of the solar system, the less efficient the solar panels are. And if your solar panels can't charge up your ship, you're not going anywhere. You're going to eventually use up all the capacitor on your ship, your air purifier is not going to work, and then you'll eventually just choke unless you can get out of there quickly. So that's why excursions to the outer parts of the solar system can very possibly be one way. Again, it's all about planning. Okay, now that the refining is done, we have all of our starter shit. Let's put the nitrogen in here along with the rest of the oxygen. Sometimes you have some spare small percentage that just shows up as 0. It's a percentage. And that'll give us a bit extra. Hydrogen fuel, let me put the last of it here because I'm going to need to be able to weld anything and everything because I don't want to bring it and then have it not work. Got to seal everything up. All right, now we're going to get onto our first excursion. Now, right now, unfortunately, leaving my station means that everything I have in the station is now open and available to anyone else. So I have to be quick, and I have to be efficient if I'm going to get some stuff. All right, 0G, save some thrust. Oh. And stabilize, turn. That's why, personally, I always leave the door open, at least the first door, because then I could just, in case of an emergency, full thrust, and then just in my ship I go. Okay, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, lock the door, pressurize. Bottom left, you can see the external pressure indicator. Once it's halfway, you can take off your helmet to conserve some oxygen. And then, that's when we're here. Okay, let's lock up. See that lock? Now I'm in the safest place I could be in this game. First, I'm going to turn on the power supply for the ship. Turn off the rest of the station. Turn on Betty. Turn off the outpost itself, save some energy, make sure that its batteries are fully charged. That. Turn on the air filtration system. Turn off everything there. Okay. Batteries at full. Air tank is nice. I can't... I'm not going to put any air in this, or I'm just going to leave it at the 68, unfortunately. Because I need all the space in the canisters on board to depressurize the entire vessel. And you'll see what I mean about what I'm talking about later. Again, it's all about pragmatic solutions to simple problems. Now, here we're docked. This is the manual docking control. Pull that, and we've released the mag lock. Now the station's just going to be floating here from now on, and the beacon for my spawn point, which we did in the beginning, is going to allow me to find the station later on in the map. But since we're here first, this is how we do stuff. Make sure that all doors have their lock enabled. If somebody else gets onto the ship, I don't want them easily taking control. Lock from the inside, lock from the inside. And yes, this is a live server. We can, at some point, run into somebody else. So we're just going to avoid, just be as secure as we can. Now we're moving away from the outpost. There we go. Oof, that was quick. Now let's turn on our mapping system. Scan quickly. Okay, now see, automated refinery B1 unfortunately is on the other side of the planet, so unless I jump someplace else, I'm not going to be able to reach it. But B2 is located just on the outskirts of the debris field, so it'll make it a far more enticing proposition. I have a full battery, so I'm going to increase to level 2 power consumption on the detonator, which means I get to use less fuel. And low. Come on, less. Okay, here we go. Minimum amount of fuel, highest amount of capacitor. The trip will be short and will allow me to travel far more comfortably. Oh, come on. Oh, 28 seconds. I have to align, and that's 20 seconds, or else I'm going to miss this window. There, and ooh, what the hell did I hit? Lock. Let's turn so the star is to our belly, which will make it far easier to navigate, because that's the other thing. There's no filter for the star. Now, this playthrough is just me alone. I need to remind everyone, this is a multiplayer-only game. If you have other people, you can have them spawn at your spawn location, or have them spawn in their own locations, and then everyone meet up, because you start by the same planetary system. ETA. Less than 15 seconds. Let's see. Do we have everything ready? Is the ship good? Oh, there's a crack somewhere on the ship. We're passing by a debris field. Híjole. Well, let's hope we don't take too much damage. Here we go. We're here. And there's another ship here. The Valkyrie. We can see it on the right-hand side. Okay. This is where we need to make ourselves known. This is a bouncing Betty to a Valkyrie. Can you do your copy? Now, there is the possibility that it is just floating there. You can't see that I typed it because my little kaiju platypus is unfortunately in the way. But I'm not moving them. Okay. Well, we have no response. So, as to legal salvage rights, let's turn on the outside lights and align with the Valkyrie to see in what shape she is. Now, this is, of course, a very grimy thing to do, but if somebody died and left the ship here, then it's like international waters. You kind of... it's 3.8 kilometers away. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to switch to the automated refinery, and we're going to go there first. Turn off the lights. Let's check out the refinery first, see if we can find some loot. And the refinery is actually moving towards us, so let's turn on the lights so we can get a better view of it. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to need to move out of the way. Little by little. Never use more thrust. Always have it and not need it, than need it and not have it. Okay. We have a slightly intercepting course, so let's just change the orientation of the ship so we know where we're going. Turn off the light. We have the sun in our way. Okay. Okay, those large modules to the left and now to the bottom are giant hangar modules. Those are great to stop by because they have huge open doors. Okay, I'm going to park it just... Let's match velocity. I'm going to park it really far away, just in case something happens, I could just run out. Alright, let's make sure all the doors are locked. Okay, no, I don't want to take this welding tool in case I lose it, so I'm going to leave it here, along with this. Battery, yeah, I might need that for something else later. I'm going with a gun without bullets. Like real life. Alright. Let's go salvage. Let's get all Serenity on this bitch. Yes, I made that reference, and yes, this game is basically, this is the Serenity. You're Malcolm Reynolds. Make your crew. Okay, let's open up the outer doors. Now with this, I have the security of knowing that unless they have a hacking tool, they can't get into my ship. That's another thing we'll get into later. Okay. Alright. There seems to be 2 openings to the left, and then the 2 large entrances to the right in the hangar bays. Now, always be careful that there are possible placements of defensive sentry guns. Those will fuck up your shit. Alright, and we're here. Ah, gravity's on. Okay, good. Let's see. What else is there? I'm just going to make it look like I have a gun. Okay. We have another spacesuit. We have some raw materials in canisters. Good. I'm going to use this one because I did take some damage earlier. Okay. Anything in here? These stations are spawn points, so you could come back later and you'll find something. What's this? Ooh, yes. Fried electronics. I can use that and break that down to make other electronics when I have a fabricator module. Nitrate materials, 25. Okay. There is a refinery here, so I can take stuff out of the canisters, organize it, and then fill all the canisters to mats. But I want to do that later when I'm absolutely sure that there's no one else here. Let's see. More stuff. More fried electronics. These are fucking absolutely necessary. Ah, yes. All the stuff I'm going to find is tier 1. We'll get into the differences in tiers later. Right now, we are in survival mode. There's more stuff. Okay. Well, okay, let's see what... Okay, that's not good. That means somebody else was here. Ah, shit, there's stuff on the ground. Somebody else was here, and it was very recent. Hydrogen, oxygen. Shit, there was someone here. The Valkyrie may actually be recent then. Okay, okay. Let's just take it easy. Okay, these are normal. There's another suit available in game called the EVA suit, which increases the amount of oxygen in your canister exponentially. But for right now, everything's cleaned out here. Okay, let's check in here. Oof. Okay, since we're starting out, we need resource modules injectors. There we go. And we're going to need motors. No, that's just another... ammunition. Okay, that's ammunition for my gun. Yes, 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 yes. Reload. Okay, now I can actually defend myself. Ah, warp cell. Nice. And here, grab that. Fill up. Okay, that had just nitrous oxide. That's RCS fuel. So I'm going to grab onto this and just throw it away. And grab on, grab on, grab on. Now, if you see a plate like this, that is where you can attach a defense sentry. So that's where you always got to look to make sure that through the window you're not going to get shot at. Anything here? No. No, this is cleaned out. Ah, ammunition, yes. Okay, I'm just going to pop away. That's the Betty. The Valkyrie is still 4.2 kilometers away, so that means it's actually getting farther. So that unfortunately means that our fellow stick jockey and belter is not online or died, and so that is now just derelict. So after this, I'll probably go there and try to pick it up. That's another gun with more ammunition. Ah, but I already have one. Wait, I do have the ability to carry another. Let's do that. 2, reload. Okay, so I can leave one on my ship in case something happens to the one I have at hand. But right now, if I die, I lose both. So this is a very, very tenuous situation. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, that's the thing. Little bit of RCS gravity here. So that means this is attached to something else that has... Ooh, that means that this might be a fab module. Yeah, okay, this is a fabricator module. That's a 3D printer. This was cleaned out. A few crowbars. And this also has nitrous oxide, no oxygen. And another gun. There are 2 pistols. This is... Yeah, the one I always look for is the glaive, but this SDS, the rapier is... The rapier is good. Nothing else here. The suits are normal. This is the recycler module, but since there's no power here, yeah, nothing works here. Well, it's just a spawn point for right now because there's really no real way of powering these stations. They're supposed to be derelicts, like beyond repair. Alright, so we're back here. Now, while you're walking around in station, always double check everything. You got to get the double check mindset because there's the possibility of something just spawning in front of you. It's not that it's like, oh, these people don't know how to... No, it just it's supposed to reiterate the whole concept that when you're in a rush, you overlook something. So there's the possibility that the reality basis of this is you overlook something. All right. This is supposed to be the control kind of panel. Eventually, it'll probably have some type of control mechanism for the doors. And for this entire platform that we're looking down there, should be able to be lifted or lowered to allow an actual ship to come in and dock. That was the original intention behind this. Remember, this entire game, everything you've seen, is still in alpha, so I think it's a heck of a game. Oh yeah, and down there is the... This down here is kind of like an access to a bunch of tunnels that are connected on the underside of this structure. Alright. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole point of going over all of the shit here, because that's going to be tenuous and boring for anyone else watching. But that's basically how you start this game. And from here on, you just basically try to survive by gathering as many resources and raw materials to, you know, keep the generator running, keep air breathing, and, yep. This is Hellion. Now, of course, this is a very, very easy playthrough right now because we don't have anyone else around. Now, I'm going to do is come back to the ship. I'll come back here later. Now, I'd like to thank the few people watching. Thank you so very much. I kind of literally do this for you. Hopefully I didn't bore you all to death, and you might be interested in picking up this game. It is a hell of a buy at $25, which means that you'll have free updates for as long as the game is going. Unfortunately, that is the thing of it these days. You got to get in early with a game before it you know, finishes, and then you have to pay full price. This is, of course, coming from the person that hates the idea of early access because it means that other developers can just give you shit, you pay for it, and then you're stuck with it. And there's been multiple occasions where that's ended with just a shitty game that's left to rot and never develop into something. Hellion has shown on more than one occasion that its developers give a shit, and that it is a hell of a bargain. Now, we're back here. And we're gonna be moving out. Now, let's do some pirating. Let's go find the Valkyrie and see what she may have. Because if we're lucky, really, really lucky, the pilot might have not locked down the ship. And if they didn't lock down the ship, their shit's ours. So, the flight of Captain Fuckbeard begins. Yar yar, har har. Well, it's either yar har or I start speaking like a belter from The Expanse with space Creole. Oki de belteloda. Taki taki sa sa. Okay, let's align. Let's get rid of any directional bias horizontally. Well, vertically and horizontally. And so now that we can align, and then full thrust forward at a positive 32 meters per second. Let's speed it up to 50 meters a second because we're more than a few kilometers away. Okay, 100 meters per second because I just want to get there and show off what it is to pirate stuff. Okay, and 100 meters per second. All right, so we'll be there in 20 seconds. Okay, I can see it, and then that's when we have the ETA below. Less than 30 seconds, we're going to overshoot. So let's slow down. Ooh. Now we're going negative, so that means that we'll catch up. Oh, yeah. Oh, we overshot. We overshot by half a kilometer. Okay. That's not good. I wasted fuel, but you know what? That'll happen. 200 meters. Slow down. Wow, slow down. Slow down. 5 meters per second. 4, 3, 2, 1 meter per second. We're 50 meters out. Okay, let's align to it so we have a better point of reference as to where we're going. Ooh, and their lights are on, so they're going to be using battery. Yeah, I think our friend may be AFK. Okay. Let's align. Let's kill off all differential. Let's get a bit closer. When it's white, it's positive. That means it's toward the object. When it's red, it's negative. It means it's away from the object. Let's get just a little bit closer. Let's turn on our spotlights. There we go. Now they know we're here. Okay, let's park it just a little bit away and match velocity. Just in case, I'm going to leave this here with one reload. Okay, this is where shit might go sideways. So, oh man. Any canisters? Canisters, please tell me I got canisters. No, I do not. Do I have here? Oxygen. Okay, yes, I do have. Okay, and one more. This was very silly of me to only come with one breather pack, but I'm trying to show you quickly how to do stuff in this game. Okay. Yeah, we're almost full up in oxygen. Good. Now, we did the correct thing. We sent a hail on all frequencies to everyone, specifically to the person flying the Valkyrie, or to anyone in the Valkyrie's vicinity. Nobody called back, so that means that it's open salvage, and we're not shitting on anyone's day. Now, if you want to be a pirate, you could just sneak in. I am not being a pirate just yet, because, you know, I want to build a rapport with people in the system. Sometimes it's smarter not to say anything, but, you know, let's see how this works out. Okay. We have to think about our own safety, so if necessary, I will shoot out the window and vacuum pack the entire innards. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Well, it's claimed, but the doors to the cockpit are open, so we can claim this ship. Nice. Well, hopefully. Let's check inside. Oh no, it's locked and we don't have a hacking module. Ah, damn you. Well, you know what? That pisses me off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burst your little bubble and be a dick about it. Okay, first I got to stabilize my RCS. Let's shoot at it. Reload. No, sadly, not enough damage. Maybe if I had a better gun. I don't want to keep using up my bullets, but this is something you could do. You could, if with one of the larger rifles, or even with one of the, there is a mag rail sniper rifle. You can take out the canopy of the ship and just vent their atmo, which will be a kind of a bitch thing to do. Let's see if I can open their airlock. Let's open the outer door. Yeah, fuck it. Screw their oxygen. Oh man, I may have just screwed them now, because maybe if I... Nope. No joy. Let's see, do they have any good beats? No, they have nothing in there except the helmet. And that's a normal helmet, not an EVA helmet. So, not even worth it. Well, screw you. I screwed your airlock. Eat shit and die. Well, that has been my introduction of Hellion. Thanks for watching. I'm now going to go join a friend on a private server to continue our own personal adventures. But once I do have a few things set aside, I will probably start a series of just continuing playing this specific version or this specific life up until I die. Why? Because it's fun. This game is just fun. Most of the drama comes from the ridiculous bullshit that happens with other people either helping you or hindering you. This has been Artemis Tau for Kaiju Platypus. Again, please follow me on Facebook and Twitter. If you look down at the information for this video, there is a link to our Discord. That, every time you message me, I will read everything. And I have read some random shit from some people, either trying to be douchebags or having, like, actual good ideas. Doesn't matter. I will read anything and everything. And if you think that I should be doing something else, or I should, you know, if you have a game that you think that I might like, please message me as well with that. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you out there.